This is TechCrunch. So there's a lot of attention on domestic manufacturing in the U.S. these days, but for Turner Caldwell, who spent nearly a decade at Tesla, there's not enough attention on the minerals and metals that sit at the very bottom of the supply chain. It's why he left Tesla, and he started Mariana Minerals in 2024. The purpose of his startup is to become a modern mining and refining operation that is set up for growth because Caldwell has essentially one goal: bring more refined metal into the ecosystem. Now, to do that, his company is trying to automate almost every aspect of a mining operation imaginable. The latest piece is vehicles. On Thursday, Mariana Minerals announced a partnership with Pronto, a startup that's developed self-driving systems for haulage trucks and other off-road vehicles used at construction and mining sites. It is the first deal that Pronto has struck since being acquired by Atoms, the new robotics venture run by Uber co-founder Travis Kalanick. The acquisition reunites Kalanick with Pronto founder Anthony Lewandowski, the former star Google self-driving project engineer and controversial entrepreneur behind Otto, which Uber acquired back in 2016. The partnership with Pronto will see autonomous haulage trucks begin operating next week at Copper One, a formerly idled copper mine in Utah that Mariana purchased last year. Terms of the deal were not disclosed. But the partnership is about more than just having autonomous trucks operating on site, Caldwell told TechCrunch in an exclusive interview. Pronto's autonomy system will be directly integrated into the software Mariana has developed to run operations at the mine, which it calls Mine OS. That will make it possible to autonomously dispatch the trucks and coordinate their routes without a human in the loop. This is part of Caldwell's broader vision for how a mine should be run going forward. It involves multiple operating systems that use reinforcement learning to automate and eventually coordinate operations across the entire mine. He said, "The big Western mining companies look exactly like Ford and GM before Tesla. They look a lot like NASA before SpaceX. They look a lot like the big defense primes before Anduril. The rate at which software is uptaken and technology is uptaken into the space is fundamentally set by the operating teams who don't really have incentive to change how they operate, right? If they're able to make their KPIs, the spreadsheets, the walkie-talkies, the paper reporting, it works just fine." In Caldwell's view, this limits a mine's output and leaves obvious efficiencies on the table, but he also thinks it's existential. He said, "Because Western mining companies don't build a lot of net new infrastructure, the talent pool hasn't been actively attracted to it, and so the labor force is diminishing. That means mines are going to be stuck trying to do more with less." Caldwell sees Mariana's software-first approach as the solution to this problem. That could be good for Mariana, clearly, but if the approach is successful, it could also benefit other mines. Selling Mariana's coordination software is on the table, especially once it's proven out, Caldwell said. But he also said he was not interested in doing that from the start. The core business should be selling metal. The company is the coordination layer, he said, and so if you're doing that, at that point, you might as well go and vertically integrate and go down into making the metal instead of just selling software. I think SpaceX would not be a very large company selling rocket re-landing software to NASA. Plus, owning and running the mine is crucial to the reinforcement learning loop, Caldwell said, not just because it allows for better control and higher fidelity data, but also because it could eventually help inform decisions that are hard for humans to see right now. Caldwell likened that to how AlphaGo, the chess-playing software developed by DeepMind a decade ago, began making moves humans had not considered once it had trained on enough data. Despite all of that talk of automation, though, Caldwell said he's not trying to remove humans from mining operations. Like many other founders working in the sector, he believes Mariana will actually expand that already winnowing talent pool. He said, "Part of this is a labor cost reduction, but that's not really the goal. The goal is actually enabling more productivity with the constrained labor pool that we have. Automation and autonomy is going to create more jobs because we will have more mines that are operating." Collide Capital, founded by Brian Hollins and Aaron Samuels, announced Thursday the close of a $95 million Fund 2. The firm, founded back in 2021, backs early-stage companies in fintech, supply chain, and the future of work. It's backed 75 companies to date after closing its inaugural $66 million Fund 1 in 2022. Hollins said it took them around 13 months to raise this latest fund, which they hope to deploy over the next 3.5 years. The landscape for many emerging fund managers is tough, but the Collide Capital team comes with a track record and a pretty strong pedigree. Hollins spent a decade at Goldman, Lightspeed, and Slow, while Samuels worked at Bain, Lightspeed, and co-founder Afrotech, one of the largest tech conferences in the world. Limited partners in Fund 2 include the University of California Endowment, which anchored their last fund, Accolade Partners, Fairview Capital, Goldman Sachs, and J.P. Morgan. The average check size will be between $1 million and $3 million, and the team hopes to back at least 30 companies, having already cut checks to 5 of them. Other companies in the firm's portfolio include Kalanick Health and Helios. Hollins said, "We're most interested in platforms enabling automation, real-time collaboration, and faster, data-driven decision-making." Aside from technology, Hollins and Samuels said the firm is also excited to expand its Collide Campus program, launched back in 2022, to help mentor the next generation of founders and venture capitalists. The expansion is separate from the fundraise. The program encompasses an undergraduate initiative that trains students in VC and entrepreneurship, and a graduate fellowship program that sees students working alongside the Collide team as investors and apprentices. The undergraduate campus program is on more than 20 campuses, including Harvard and Johns Hopkins, and Samuels said more than 50 students have passed through the program so far and have landed top jobs at places like General Catalysts and, of course, Collide. Overall, the program helps the firm source deals and talent. Samuels said they started the program as it was something they wished they had when they were students. He said, "We're connecting the best and the brightest with venture capital to match their grit and determination to build businesses the world needs." That's all for now. For more stories like these, go to TechCrunch.com.